Well, this just into CP24. The Bank of Canada is once again holding its key interest rate steady at 5%. It's the seventh straight time the central bank has kept the rate unchanged. High interest rates have slowed demand in the economy as consumers pull back on spending and businesses hold off on investment plans, helping lower inflation. Well, Canada's inflation rate was 2.8% in February. Today's decision was widely expected by economists, although many are predicting the rate will come down as early as June. And joining us now to talk a little bit more about this and other money news is BNN Bloomberg's Andrew Bell. No surprise there.
No surprise there, no, because of course they are worried about igniting a spring rally in house prices. If people think rates are coming down, even if it's only a slight drop, if people think, well, that's the story now, it's going to get cheaper, we're going to ask more for our house, and people are going to possibly get into bidding wars anticipating a rise. Markets are always weird that way.
Absolutely.
You're always worried about not what prices are going to do, but what other people think prices are going to do, and it turns into a hall of mirrors.
Yeah, a lot of people have been on the sidelines waiting for those rate reductions,
right.
But you never know what's going to happen.
And that is a real worry, because the Bank of Canada has seen that over the past 2 years. Previously, when they started talking about bringing down rates, that ignited the housing market, so they don't want to spark that again.
And I'm sure a lot of people who are nervous about their renewal are hoping for those rates to come down sooner than later.
The old variable mortgage. So many people have piled into these variable rate mortgages and, of course, variable rate home equity lines of credit.
Well, talking about inflation, hot U.S. inflation is pouring some cold water on the stocks. I'm looking at the North American markets right now. I'm seeing a lot of red this morning.
America once again producing a hotter than expected inflation number, and this is delaying expectations for a U.S. interest rate cut until maybe well into this year. That's disappointing the markets. I mean, the U.S. S&P 500 is up about 9% this year. It hasn't been a bad year by any means, especially after the rocket-like gains of last year. But this is delaying that expectation once again. Meanwhile, President Biden is, I like this, calling on companies to use their record profits to cut prices. Well, good luck with that. I mean, that's what companies are about, making a profit.
Wishful thinking there. When it comes to EVs, obviously we talk a lot about Tesla and some of the other big makers, but BMW hasn't always been in that conversation.
No.
But we're starting to see BMW sales spike.
Yeah, they were early to the game, in fact, with electric cars, and they had glitches at first, but they are posting big gains in their electric car sales as Tesla and Mercedes either struggle or cut back. I mean, a big problem for Tesla is the rise of BYD, the Chinese electric car maker. And really, we in Europe and in North America face an important policy choice here. Do we let these Chinese electric cars come in? I mean, they're pretty darn good. They're very cheap, but it could represent a hollowing out of our auto industry. How protectionist are we going to be?
Consumers want variety. They want competition.
That's right, yeah.
And if you're stuck with just, high-end German automakers, which, make a great car.
Yeah.
But, the average person out there might not be able to afford $70,000, $80,000 vehicles.
No, but, I mean, the companies like Ford have slowed down their growth plans in electric vehicles because, of course, they make the money on the fancy cars, the high-end cars, the big SUVs.
The cars you drive.
Oh, yeah, well, that's right. I don't know how many SUVs I own now. It's just out of control. They just don't make them big enough for me. What is it? Isn't there one called the Titan? I think there is, yeah.
Out of my price range.
Yeah. Right. I can't be bothered, really, I can't, because I'm a bad parker. I want a small vehicle.
And you also ride a bike.
I ride the bike, yeah, that's right. I just got, today...
And it's the best way to get around.
I was riding to work, and I saw a bunch of drivers stuck behind a garbage truck, and they were going to be there for a while, and I just went on the sidewalk with my bike, very cautiously.
Andy Bell.
Thank you.
Always great to chat.
Thank you.